No. The sky is getting darker, as if dusk came early. People noticed that the sun seemed to be changing. A dark shadow moved slowly and finally swallowed the last rays of the sun. All that's left is a halo around the center of darkness. This is the spectacle of the solar herd. Soon, this scene will be played out on the North American continent. The time is set for April 2024. But if you miss this opportunity, don't worry, because eclipses don't just happen on Earth. When a total solar eclipse occurs, a celestial body moves in front of the sun. It completely obscures the sun. This phenomenon is relatively common on Earth. It happens when the moon and the sun are in perfect alignment. Japanese style on Earth? What makes it special is that, due to the fact that the moon is just the right size and distance, the diameter of the 7 angles is almost the same as that of the sun, forming a unique halo in the sun's hibernation. This is what the upper atmosphere of the sun looks like. Day sleep is usually invisible, but it will show up in time, extending hundreds of thousands of kilometers. Take a closer look at the edge of the hours. You can also see the outlines of craters on the moon and the reddish ears of the sun. This is a bunch of particles floating in the atmosphere of the sun. On Earth, the shadow of the lunar head is about 250 kilometers in diameter. As the moon orbits the Earth, this shadow moves across the surface of the Earth. For example, the time of day in April this year, its shadow will begin on the west coast of Mexico, through America, directly to Canada, then across the sea. People who live along this path have the opportunity to witness this organ firsthand. Within shadow coverage, the sun will be completely obscured from the shadows. The observer will witness the heliocentric stone or the heliocentric stone. This shadow is moving at about 1 kilometer per second across the ground. Seen from above, the movement is spectacular. Even satellites can capture the scene. The diameter of the sun is about 140 million kilometers, in sharp contrast to the 3,400 kilometer diameter of the moon. Blurring the shadows. This blurring is caused by the relative diameters of the sun and the moon and the distance between them. In daily time, the area where the sun is completely obscured is called the umbra. The part of the moon that blocks the sun is called the penumbra. This part of the shadow is much wider than the umbra at 250 kilometers. So why don't eclipses happen every month? The reason is that the moon's orbit around the Earth is not perfectly aligned with the Earth's orbit around the sun. We might be able to see some beautiful sights illuminated by the edge of the sun. Although incomplete, but still spectacular. However, Earth is not the only planet that can experience Japanese style. We have images and videos to prove it. Now let's explore the phenomenon of solar eclipses on our neighbor, the moon. Logically, if the moon could obscure the Earth, then the Earth can also cover the moon. And it is. But from the Earth, the most attractive thing is not the shadow itself. The Earth appears particularly large in the lunar sky, 4 times the size of the moon in our sky. So when the Earth completely blocks the sun, the moon would be completely in the shadow cast by the Earth. At first, the shadow of the Earth will form a crescent-like shape. But unlike the moon, the Earth has an atmosphere. This means that during the month of the city, Earth's atmosphere refracts sunlight around the planet. Gently illuminate the moon, forming a beautiful and slightly mysterious red glow. This color effect is caused by sharp scattering. This principle also explains why our sky is blue and why the sky turns red at sunset. You can see from the image, light of different wavelengths is scattered through the Earth's atmosphere. A gradual change from deep red on one side to blue on the other. From the moon, although the sun cannot be seen during the whole day, but you can see the Earth's atmosphere being illuminated, forming a halo around the Earth. In 2009, the Japanese fishing boat, the Aeronautical Research and Development Agency's probe, captured this stunning sight on the moon. This interaction between the Earth and the moon is not one way. This is 1969. Apollo 12 astronauts captured a spectacular view of Earth, blocking the sun on their way back to Earth. From the Skirwa satellite, the moon sometimes blocks the Earth. And here's the interesting thing. In this case, the side of the moon we see will never face the Earth, because the moon's autobiography is the same as its orbit around the Earth. This is called facing west. Look at the moon from this perspective. He looks so unfamiliar. But this is what our only natural satellite will actually look like as it passes by. Another satellite, Mazdio, observes the sunstone. Occasionally, the moon blocks the sun. This is because SDL's orbital position allows the moon to occasionally pass between it and the sun. Except for the moon, Mercury also often passes in front of the sun. Relative to the huge volume of too much pressure, the crystal is like a small fish. The next crystal zero day will take place on November 13, 2032. So there is still a while. Venus will also pass between us and the sun, because he is closer to us and bigger than Mercury. So his silhouette looks more obvious. The last 2 zero days of Venus occurred in 2004 and 2012, respectively. If you missed it, then I may never see it again, because these events occur in pairs with an interval of about 100 years. That is to say, the next Venus Ganoderma lucidum will have to wait until 2117 years. This phenomenon occurs for the same reason that the moon does not cause a solar eclipse every month. The bottom line is that their orbits don't always align. Despite this, we still have a spectacular high-definition food. Now let's move to another planet, Mars. The orbit and surface of Mars are teeming with unmanned robots. Mars has 2 small moons. They are Hubei 1 and Hubei 2 respectively, and they're both fairly small. The diameter of the fire shell is about 22 kilometers, and fire shell 2 is about 13 kilometers in diameter, but they are very close to Mars. The fire shell is only about 9,000 kilometers from the surface of Mars, and Hubei 2 is about 23,000 kilometers. This means that despite their small size, but it's clearly visible from the surface of Mars. In particular, the Fire-Only Curious rover captured an incredible moment. Fire Shell 1 surpasses Fire Shell 2 in the Martian sky. This video was shot in real time. Shows 2 different sized organs as seen from the surface of Mars. And not only that. Curious, I caught the transit of the fire wings passing in front of the sun. Since the fire wing is farther from Mars, he moves very fast in the sky. It orbits Mars approximately every 7 hours. This means that the video we see is live. And on Mars, the Japanese style of the fire sweater will not lose more than about 30 seconds. During the fire sweater Japanese style, the light on the surface of Mars has indeed become significantly dimmer. This phenomenon can not only be seen from the perspective of the rover, it can also be observed from space. The Landscape 1 orbiter in Mars in the near future. Global Explorer has observed the shadow of Phobos on Mars. Goldfield and Spirit rovers have also observed the forest sun of Deimos. But the impact is small. Just the sun, that little black spot in front of it doesn't cause any noticeable change in the light. The living organs are quite impressive. But that's not all the solar system has to offer. And here's the Hubble Space Telescope video of Jupiter. Jupiter has 4 large moons. 3 of these rocks can pass in front of Jupiter at the same time, leaving 3 huge shadows. The satellite involved in the jewelry is Wood is 1, Wood is 4, and Wood is 2. And here's the interesting thing. Due to its proximity to Jupiter, it casts the clearest shadow, although we can see the farthest Gomoji temple. The penumbra is larger, causes shadows to appear blurry. In this video, the Hubble telescope also captured the stellar phenomenon of Ganymede, Jupiter's largest moon. Cassini observed spiritual days and derivatives of Saturn's moons. It includes a scene of Adamicius passing in front of the Titans. And the moment Dione approaches from the side. And the Hubble telescope is even more spectacular. It shows Enceladus, the site of Ictatus orbiting Saturn. Every 15 years, Saturn's rings and moons would be perfectly aligned. That causes the moon's shadow to pass through Saturn's rings. This video is 9.5 hours of time-lapse photography. Moving forward, we come to Neptune and its largest moon, the only one in the sea. Although there is no video, but the photos taken by Voyager 2 show the only happy state of mind between Neptune and the sea. Then Sea King Xinhua set sail. Hygie's vision is advancing. We have reached the farthest reaches of the solar system to explore, the planet Tiberius. In 2015, New Horizons passed by Pluto. Retractor captures spectacular view of the dwarf planet completely obscured from the sun. What you see is remarkable. Sunlight penetrates and illuminates Pluto's atmosphere and mountains of smog. The outlines of ridges and mountains stand out against the backdrop of Pluto's night sky. Although the phenomena of stars and spirits are striking, but their scientific value goes far beyond that. Did you know it is because of the dimming of the light in the backwell of Uranus during the planetary event? We just discovered the aura around him when a planet passes in front of a star from our perspective. The brightness of the star changes both before and after the planet's occlusion. Through this phenomenon, we can deduce how many rings there are around Uranus. And here's what's even more important. This zero-day phenomenon is actually one way we detect exoplanets. Telescopes and TAS make observations by measuring changes in the brightness of stars. If you detect a sudden dimming in the brightness of a star, this could suggest that a planet is passing in front of it. If this dimming pattern occurs at a certain period of time, like once every 100 days, then we can infer that it takes 100 days for a planet to orbit the star. Rely on this method. NASA and other agencies have discovered more than 3,000 fine white planets. That's more exoplanets than all other detection methods combined. This technique even allows scientists to estimate the size of the journey by measuring the degree to which the star becomes safe. or analyzing the spectrum of light coming from a star to predict the composition of a planet's atmosphere. We may have to wait a while before we can observe the Japanese style again. In the United States, after the Japanese style in April, the next solar eclipse won't happen until 2044. The next solar eclipse in the UK will not be until 2090. If I'm lucky enough to live until then, I will be an elderly person. However, when I look back at all the history that has happened in the solar system, I was struck by the unique beauty of each of them. These moments, a celestial body, please skip. Another celestial body even through their shadow. It's not that I don't want a license. It's those moments that fill me with awe and remind me how interconnected the universe is. Even thousands of kilometers apart, millions of kilometers, billions of kilometers. We can also observe the movement of the road. If you happen to be in the right place at the right time, what wonders will you witness?